affection, misdirection sets the stage to turn the page. At the raising of the curtain, I am hurting and uncertain of the parts we have played. Why must the show go on? I can't say these lines again. Why must the show go on? Must I sing this song again? Fading out of the close-up, everybody's reeling, no concealing. Your beauty is seed stealing. Violins are singing, sunsets waiting, radiating. Your entrance is breathtaking. Why must the show go on? I can't say these lines again. Why must the show go on? Must I sing this song again?
Well, it wouldn't be the Four Wall Sunday Roundtable if Drew's camera didn't freeze right at the top. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the couples edition of the Four Wall Sunday Roundtable.
Okay.
Here's Drew.
Yeah.
Hi.
Sorry, I froze. Honestly, what a way to kick off a nice Valentine's Day episode. My wife was supposed to come as well, so I was kind of frantic a little bit. We have a 6-month-old teething baby who will not stop crying. He doesn't care that it's Valentine's Day, just like he didn't care that it was Valentine's Day this morning at 4:00 in the morning. I mean, that's just what happens. So my wife isn't here. Honey, happy Valentine's Day. You're probably watching in the other room, but there's our picture. We got married. We were gonna do a little spiel together, but we got married in 2014. I have it tattooed, so I just read it, so I don't forget.
You should do that.
Yeah,
it's a great.
And we've been together for 12 years. This is our 12th Valentine's Day. We spent it with the 2 kids, and awesome. now we're doing this couple special episode.
Well, if she wants to pop in later and say hi, she's bring the screaming kid. Again, it won't be worse than the pantsless husband we had walking through the background.
That's true.
Well. 2 things before I bring Kate on to say hello, my wife. Number 1, Chris Barron, who loaned us his song to use to start our show. His anniversary is today, to Lindsay Nicole Chambers, who's a friend of ours. So happy anniversary. They both met and were married on Valentine's Day. Not the same day, but a few years apart. And I was going to say something about the Super Bowl and how I totally blew those predictions and lost any dime I put into it. But you know what? That's all I need to say. Hey, Kate, pop on over. Say hi.
I need an ear.
Oh, yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day, Kate.
Kate's actually been away working for a while and just came back today. So I haven't seen her. Hi, nice to see you. Happy Valentine's Day. Drew, you were going to have Stephanie explain how you guys met. but that never happened because she's not here.
Yeah, well, we met at a restaurant. She was a hostess there, and that was the first time that she's seen me. And then we kind of had mutual friends, and I friend requested her on MySpace. Thank you, MySpace. And
you guys are
and then yeah, we're definitely old. Hey, that was 12. That was 12 years ago. January. Yeah. It was sometime in January, and then she came over for our first date to watch a movie on January 20th. So,
what was the movie?
Halloween, the first one, actually.
Whoa.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know.
Impressive.
So that you could cling to each other.
That's right. So that's
scary moments.
Actually, a great move.
I thought I was super, super smooth, but she was like, this movie's so stupid. So,
well, she's not wrong, actually, but it's scary. It's a groundbreaking, scary.
Obviously, it was not a deal breaker.
I know exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
Kate, how did we meet? What's the story? What's the story?
The big story is that we met on a show. That show was a TheaterWorks USA, their first commercial production in New York City.
Last.
No, they did a few more. In 2004 at the now defunct Lambs Theater.
Yeah.
And have I said the name of the show? No, it was Cam Jansen and the Curse of the Emerald Elephant. I was the titular character. And I was checking you out from the stage, I guess. Though
in the dark.
So, I guess on a break because I was checking him out. And at the opening night party, I gave him my phone number.
And that's how it started.
Yeah.
Slid the digits. Nice.
That's right.
Right into his palm.
Being too slow.
Well,
was it a what's up, Jeff? And then you slide the number,
yeah,
it was kind of like, I'm leaving. Call me if you want.
I had been given the heads up.
That's right. It was like high school, except we were like old.
Yeah, I given the green light that like my chances.
The stage manager did some checking,
and a castmate. Right. So someone had given me flowers, and I ripped off a corner of the flower paper and hastily wrote my number on it and made sure to grab his hand as I was leaving to say congrats on opening. And he felt it, but kept eye contact. And he said, I'll talk to you soon.
That's right. How long have we been together?
16
years? 16 years.
Yeah.
Married.
Don't make me do math. But we got married in 2007.
No, it's right. It's okay. Here's quickly the picture of us as kids 16 years ago. It seems like more. And then as adults, and this is so we're going to talk a little bit about working with each other. This is me working for Kate. I was DPing something that Kate was the writer and the executive producer on, and this is my favorite picture of Kate at work. Okay.
I take things very seriously.
That's right. Did the banana talk back?
No, they didn't answer.
Thanks for stopping by.
Nice
to see you. Welcome home.
Thank you. Have a great show. Happy Valentine's Day. Now I'm going to go watch the rest of the show.
Thanks. All right, Joe.
All righty. Well, let's get it going. Our first couple, Kate Freer, multimedia artist, filmmaker, and organizer, and Ty Defoe, writer, interdisciplinary artist. Kate and Ty.
Welcome.
Hi, y'all.
Hello.
Next is lighting designer Philip Rosenberg and producer Isaac Hurwitz. Hello.
Hello.
And last is lighting designer Natalie Robin and stage manager show caller Marci Skolnick.
In separate
locations, right?
Yeah.
We'll get to that. We'll get to it. Okay. So we're going to dive right in. And I think we're going to start with Natalie and Marci because you're in separate locations. But here we are. Here's the question. So before we talk about how you met, which is maybe everybody's favorite question to ask a couple that their first meeting for the first time, and before we talk about you as a pair, can you please tell us about you and more specifically as it relates to your career? What do you do? What was your path to get where you are now? I will add, as we have added for the last few episodes, we can usually spend an hour with each of you talking about this one question. Since we want to get to a lot, can you give us the history abridged? Again, people who watch the show regularly know why we're adding this caveat. Marcy, let's start with you.
Oh gosh. Okay. Hi, I'm Marcy. I'm in my mother's office in Las Vegas because when the pandemic hit, I was on tour, and I was on tour with the Eagles during the 40th anniversary of Hotel California, and they said, we're going to take a week off while they figure this pandemic out. And I went to Mom's, and I've been here ever since. Way back before that, when I was a baby actor in New York, I was an actor that nobody wanted to cast, and someone figured out I was organized, and that worked out really well when I became a stage manager, and I did a lot of Yiddish theater, and I did a lot of Shakespeare. And then my father passed away, actually, and I decided, wouldn't it be great to spend a little time with my mother? And somebody called me to stage manage a show in Las Vegas for 6 months, and that was 3 years ago.
Wow. Great. Thanks. That's great. That was very, thank you.
You asked for abbreviated.
Yeah, you win the history abbreviated. Natalie, your turn.
Sure. You ask a stage manager, they will be specific.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm a lighting designer and educator. I thought I was going to be a doctor, and then turned out that in the middle of college, I realized that was not true. And so I have a BA in theater and an MFA in lighting design from NYU. I worked in New York for a long time. I started teaching after grad school. I sort of realized I fell in love with it. And so now I'm the head of the BFA Theater Design and Technology program at the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, and a lighting designer.
Cool. We will have to have you back on when we have another education episode, which we do a lot of, just to talk about that and how difficult that is these days. I've known you for a very long time, and I didn't know that you wanted to be a doctor before you became a lighting designer educator. So that's the other reason why I love doing this, because I learn things about people. Philip and Isaac. Hi.
Hi.
Your turn to answer the question. You guys get to decide who goes first.
Yes.
Since you're
I start. Okay. I'm a producer. I started out as a director and a musician, and very quickly I ended up working as the assistant to a music director, and realized I didn't want to be behind the piano, and got roped into co-founding the New York Musical Theater Festival, which is how I met you, Jeff.
Yep.
And ran that for 10 years before I got headhunted to help 20th Century Fox start a theater division. So I did that for 7 years and developed all of their movies into plays and musicals, including Moulin Rouge and Anastasia and Mrs. Doubtfire, which I'm now a producer on. And when Disney bought Fox, I left and became an independent producer. So I'm now producing theater independently. That's the short version.
That's great. I didn't know you were a musician at first, so it's nice to hear that too. So fantastic. More things I've learned. Philip, I've known you for 100 years.
Yeah, I've met Jeff like even before I moved to New York. I think I met Jeff. But I have been a lighting designer. I mean, ever since I could remember. I used to do puppet shows in my bedroom with like I would do fluorescent lights for cold scenes and incandescent lights for warm scenes, and then I would like build Lego theaters and invite and light them, invite my family in and play Madonna music and like do rock. And then I, didn't know that you could actually do that as a profession. And like at a really young age, I mean, like 4th and 5th grade, I started acting in a couple of shows, but I was always really interested in what was happening backstage and like the smell of backstage. I thought was really interesting. And I just got interested into technical theater. Did it in junior high, did it in high school. Ended up going to University of Arizona for lighting and technical theater, and then worked at the Old Globe for 4 years after that as an assistant, and then moved to New York in 1996, where I assisted many different lighting designers, and then turned to start to do my own lighting, be my own lighting designer rather than assistant associate work around 2007, 2008. Which is what I've been doing since then.
I think I remember a conversation that Philip and I had when you first moved to the city, and I think you said something like, can I be an assistant? Do I have to be a designer? Can I just work as an assistant and make that a career?" And I remember thinking to myself, yeah, absolutely. We don't need more lighting designers. Definitely, like,
definitely keep doing what you're doing. Yeah,
sounds
super
great.
happy doing it too. You make a ton of money, and you don't have the ultimate responsibility. So I was like, yeah, let me keep doing that.
And
but then
I actually just to say, I think there was a long time there that Philip, people would point to an assistant and say, like Philip, like I think you were what people considered like the go-to assistant for a time. And now you're a grown-up lighting designer.
Well, I was like a lighting designer.
I don't know if you know this, but you and Corey Paddock have lighting puppet shows in common. So that's something that you guys can talk about. And when it's funny you say every theater has a smell, they do. Every theater absolutely has a smell. And whenever I walk into the public theater, I sneeze like 4 times. I don't know what it is. Like I walk in to the Newman, I sneeze, and then I go about my business. Kate and Ty.
It was smoke machines that smell, definitely.
Yeah, maybe. Kate and Ty, welcome to the Four Wall Sunday Roundtable. What are your humble beginnings?
Ooh. Shall I go first? Would you like to go first? Okay. I actually started out in a film family. Both of my parents are filmmakers, and so I grew up with that. And I thought that I was going to be a filmmaker, but then, sort of by accident, I stumbled into theater because at NYU Film School, on my floor, there were a bunch of theater kids, and they said to me, "Oh, you make some really great looking film. What if you put that in our show?" And I was like, "What? You can put film in live performance?" It like blew my mind. And then I was hooked because thinking outside of the screen in real space was just such like an exciting thing for me, especially because I've always been very like documentary and social justice driven in my work, and being able to do that in a big way with video and projections and in a very collaborative and non-hierarchical way is exciting to me. And I actually I teach projection design in Natalie's department at UArts in Philly. So that's pretty exciting. But most of my work right now, both, in my design is very much in line with advocacy. And I spend a lot of time when I'm not in shows advocating for designers and trying to sort of break down the structural oppression in the field of theater.
Great. Ty, your turn.
Your turn.
Let's see. It was a snowy winter over a fire. Watched some old Anishinaabe man tell a story, incorporating my entire community. Went to the city, saw a theater show. Someone said, "Hey, this is what theater is." So I was able to put language to exactly sort of, I guess, what a communal gathering in theater is. So when I think back to that snowy winter time, I think about, wow, yeah, actually there was a story happening. There were lights. There was a communal time that was going on. They gather people together. But I primarily identify now as a writer and interdisciplinary artist. So that's
where was the snowy winter? Did you say
northern Wisconsin?
Yeah, snowy winters, right?
Very snowy.
Very snowy.
Very cool.
And are you? When did you move to New York?
Maybe like more than a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I traveled around the world and across Turtle Island in the country, but ended up here in New York.
Cool. Well, we're having a very snowy winter in New York now, so maybe, I don't know, maybe you'll be re-inspired.
Awesome. Kate and Ty, where or how long have you been together, and how did you meet?
Very similarly to Jeff's story, we met on a show. Oh my gosh.
No.
Ty wrote this awesome show, this huge puppet show called A G-Jack on Turtle Island, which was actually at the New Victory. And I just got hired onto the show as a video designer. Yeah. And I don't know. What else should we say about that?
How long ago? How long ago was that?
That the show was about a little over 4 years ago.
Oh,
I like
cool.
to say it was collaboration at first sight.
We're going to steal that, right? That's a good one. We'll credit you. I love
Yes.
it. I love it.
Philip and Isaac, how about you?
We met, well, Isaac was running NYMF, New York Music Theater Festival, and I was, for whatever reason, lighting 3 shows that week. And I went and, Isaac was doing his speech to, the whole community about like how NYMF worked and everything. And I thought he was super cute, but I didn't really know anything about him or really who he was. And then cut to Scandal, we met on an app.
No.
Yeah, we won't say which one, but he was pretty close by when we met.
That's great. Were you like in the next theater?
Not quite, but we met. We met and we chatted for maybe a year and a half before we even met, and then we had a date at a burrito Mexican place, and then we had another date. Yeah, exactly.
And then I went away to go work in London, and he sent me flowers, and I had to decide if he was a stalker or really nice. And
literally, my brother's birthday was last week, and I posted a picture of him. And Isaac's mother commented, because she loves my brother. She said, "Noah, you're the best thing that came out of Philip stalking Isaac."
There you go. Very nice.
And there you go. Now, tell us about this.
Well, that was right when I came back from London, right? And that was our first time out in the theater together at the opening of Rocky.
Yeah. So that was 2014.
Yeah.
And we got married in 2016 on a dude ranch in Arizona.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah. Amazing.
And Marcy and Natalie, tell us your story.
I was looking for an apartment, and Natalie was looking for a roommate. And Natalie's cat, Slusha, sat down on my lap, sunk her claws into my leg, and didn't let me leave for a while. And so we became friends. I did not move into that apartment. And we were friends for the next year. And then we did a show together. That was 10 years ago. 10 plus years ago.
And you did a show together, and it started. Natalie, how did it begin?
We did a show together where the production manager quit via text message on the first day of load-in. And so, unsurprisingly, perhaps, there was a lot of things to talk about. And so Marcy was holding that show together by the skin of her teeth, I think. And it was actually 2 shows consecutively produced by the same company. So we were like for weeks and weeks. And yeah. Oh, here we are.
Cool. We've lost we lost Kate and Ty.
No.
I'm thinking maybe the computer laptop died or something. That's what usually happens if somebody just drops. But we'll see. If they come back in, we'll add them in.
Great. All right. Well, so we're going to go to Philip and Isaac now. So there are we talk about collaboration a lot on the show, and there's collaboration in all different sorts of ways. So there are couples, speaking of collaboration, there are couples who work together and couples who refuse not to work together and couples who can't because only one can work at a time for a variety of reasons. Have you worked together? Do you continue to work together? And what is it like to work with each other? Philip and Isaac.
We have worked together. We did A Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the musical, in Minneapolis together. I don't remember if that was 2015 or 20. And then we're both doing Mrs. Doubtfire now together. But we don't actually collaborate that intimately during that process because as a producer, I'm working through the director. Really, I'm not interfering in that process. So. Obviously we have our side conversations.
Yeah, we'll get the comments late at night, but not in the theater.
Trouble. That's what that is.
Exactly.
What did that mean?
Nothing. Nothing. Nope. Nothing. And that's very kind of you, Isaac, not to get involved and let the director do it. Some producers don't.
If you're working with directors who know what they're doing, it's easier.
I suppose that's true.
But we certainly have a rule about not working together, and we would welcome the opportunities to work together, whenever
you
possible.
Don't have a rule about
we don't. We have a dog that we can that Isaac's parents are happy to take care of, so we don't have a child problem of someone has to stay home.
Yeah. Kate and Ty, welcome back. We lost you for a second. My heart sinks every time that happens. Not the first time. Kate and Ty, let's go to you. Are you guys resettled? Everything okay?
Settled, hopefully.
The question is, and since you started talking about this before, it's about it's a collaboration question about couples. It sounds like you work together, or do you work together, or have you decided not to work with each other as a couple, as some people have, or are you intertwined?
Yeah, it's intertwined.
Good.
Yeah. We not only do we work together, we do a lot of collaborations, and even more so since the pandemic, which is both an excellent thing and a very funny thing, because we're making like a lot of content from our home. It's really nice, like living with such a fabulous performer. And so we basically have like a live stream, we have like a live stream studio basically set up, and like a film studio set up. But we also are co-collaborators with All My Relations Collective. So we make work as a unit of 4 all the time. And it's like a devising theater ensemble. Yeah.
Great. Natalie.
Well, Marcy and I worked together, like we said at the beginning. We did those 2 shows together, and then one more show together like 2 years later. Our careers are really different now. As Marcy said, she's based in Las Vegas and I'm based in Philadelphia, and I do a lot of contemporary dance and new musicals, and she does rock and roll.
Right.
But so there's not a ton of overlap at this moment. We certainly don't have any rules about not working together, and it's fine. I mean, Marcy is surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, but is an excellent stage manager. And so
I know this. I've worked with Marcy, so she is an excellent stage manager.
Yeah, I think it would be hard if she was terrible at calling late fees, but she's not. So
I think the same about you now. So.
Would you like to add anything to that, Marcy?
That we're open to collaborate if anybody needs us. It might put us in the same place, and that would be lovely.
That's
now
right.
our collaboration is mostly like, oh my God, this crazy thing happened, and what do we do about it? Hey, I have an idea, which is really useful.
Do you give each other feedback about work? I mean, Marcy, do you see Natalie's lighting and
oh, absolutely. In whatever way we can. Like Nat flew out to see Gwen Stefani back when you could fly places, and that kind of thing. But I mean, we're as Nat said, we're both really good at our jobs, and we want to be better at our jobs. And so, feedback from people that you love and trust and care about is really great feedback to help you.
Absolutely, awesome.
Yeah, it's great to have that support too, for sure.
Yeah.
And Marcy and Natalie, I'll stick with you two for this question. Before COVID, so many people in the business spend a significant amount of time on the road, just kind of like what you mentioned. Some are even drawn to these type of jobs for that very reason. And some, like 2 of our guests, are in different time zones because of that. How do you maintain that relationship, and what do you do to keep your relationship growing?
We talked about this earlier, and I think the answer is you just do it. Like really great science or advice for anybody, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend what we're doing, but
right.
But you just do it. We have to follow our path and do our thing, and do the things that fill your soul, and then figure out how to have the rest of your work-life balance somehow. When it's important, you make it work.
Yeah, we have not seen. Marcy left Philadelphia on the day of lockdown. And so we have not seen each other since COVID started.
Oh, wow.
But before that, we'd been living in separate cities for 3 years. So we had sort of figured out, I flew to Vegas on my school breaks. Marcy flies to Philadelphia between shows. We go on vacation together. We sort of figured it out. I had done a lot of touring the first several years that we were together, so we had figured out like long distance phone call, FaceTime thing.
Yeah. So you get to go to Vegas on school breaks when all the crazies are there. That's the best time to go.
I spend most of my time in Vegas sitting in casino Starbucks, waiting for Marcy to be done with work.
There are worse things, actually.
Yeah, I guess the good thing is since Vegas is open 24/7, you don't. It's not weird that you're at a Starbucks at midnight or something. It's kind of normal.
Yeah, totally.
Kate and Ty, same question.
Whoa. It's like so funny because when I was doing my taxes, I actually counted how many days I was out of town in 2019, and I was out of town for like 158 days. And we actually moved in together at the very beginning of the lockdown. So we're having like the exact opposite experience where we were like very much on tour and like away from each other constantly. And now we have only been with each other for the last like about a year. It's very, very funny.
Yeah, that's a learning experience for sure.
We're still with each other, so that's something.
That's true. That is true. Philip and Isaac, how about you?
Well, when we started dating, Philip was working a lot regionally, so I would always fly out or train out to see him and on his opening weekends or days off or whatever. And then but that we started to get into a rhythm of that. And then, working together was a different pattern. And now, like Kate and Ty, we've been in the same space with each other for a year and luckily discovered that we really enjoyed that. So it's one of the things that we, in thinking about our future, have thought about, how can we work together more? How can we create a life balance that allows us to do that more? Because
we've actually made some adjustments to our life. I mean, just so that we can spend more time together, less time away from each other, more time in our home together, so we're working towards that for sure.
I think we're going to get to a little bit of that later also.
Cool.
Working home life.
Preview.
Let's see if we get there. Was that everyone? Look at me, not keeping track. So let's stick with Philip and Isaac. Do you have rules about how long it can go before you see each other? Is that something that's defined? I will say that Kate and I have
a year.
We have a 3-week, and I have a 3-week rule that we've actually in all the 16 years, I don't think we've gone more than 3 weeks. Wherever, when she works out of town, it could be for months, and I'll just find a day and I'll like sneak out there. So
we don't have any set rules, but we definitely. I mean, Isaac. One of my favorite things to do when I'm out of town is like eat and find delicious restaurants, and Isaac likes to do the same thing. So he's always happy to like hop in a plane or hop on a train or whatever, to come to where I am and eat what I've been eating. So we definitely have no set rules about how long we can be apart, and we've been apart for 5 or 6 weeks sometimes. But we always figure out a way to break it up, and if we don't, but we always, we text a lot and we FaceTime every night, before we go to bed. So we are always in touch.
Yeah. I mean, when the hardest time is when you were in California and I was in LA. No, I was in London rather. That's a time difference. That's
far apart.
Yeah.
Right.
But by and large, it's navigable.
Right. I feel like this is an unfair question for Natalie and Marcy. So, but before COVID, though, I mean, were there rules about? I mean, did you try to see each other just as often as possible? I know, like, other than the spring breakers.
Yeah, I mean, we typically go about 4 months.
I went like 4 months without a day off once, so it was kind of for me to get out there.
It's hard. It's just hard because the school calendar and the my Christmas break is the like exciting Christmas to New Year's season in Las Vegas. So like go 1 year, but Marcy had to work every day. So like we talk all the time, and this is what it is right now, and maybe we'll change sometime.
Yeah. Kate and Ty, what about you? What about you both?
Do we have any rules?
I don't know.
I like what Marcy was saying before. If you just like make it work, I don't know. We haven't been in a situation that has been, obviously there's like time. I did this cruise ship job in Italy, literally right before the pandemic, so that went great timing. But that was probably the longest we had been apart. It was like a couple months.
Yeah. So you were on a cruise ship in Italy at the beginning of COVID.
Yeah.
I feel like that were you on the news? I feel like that's where where we're all staring at the beginning. All the people stuck on boats.
Yeah, that was
Patient zero.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's stick with Kate and Ty for a little follow-up here. So what are the positives and negatives about being with someone in the business? Are there negatives? I mean, I would say that I'm not sure there are negatives for me, but everyone has a different take. What do you think the positives and negatives are?
After you. No pressure.
No pressure.
I don't know. I guess I don't really view the concept of like good or bad or positive or negative in that kind of way. So it just kind of depends on context, depends on moment, you know. But mostly I think it's nice.
Yeah, what I really like, I mean, you know, for example, we were just taking the subway and we got a chant from like B&H, and we are developing a new project. And so we like that time on the train, you know, we just got to talk about our concept, which was pretty cool. I don't know, so much of what I love to do is make art. And we get to do that with somebody that I'm very close with, and we have the shared vocabulary, and also can inspire like unexpected creation is pretty cool to, you know, have constant access to that kind of.
That is a great positive. Yeah. Also, B&H is a great playground. It inspires me to do almost anything. That's great. So that was today. So you're starting something new. Fantastic. Come back on sometime and talk about your new project whenever you want. Whenever it's ready to, whenever it's cooked, or whatever, partially cooked, or on the way. Philip and Isaac, what do you think? Are there?
I can't think of any negatives. I mean, the positive thing is, I mean, it's a schedule, right? I mean, if you're dating someone in the business, they understand what your schedule is, and they understand why you're out of town for weeks on end. They understand why you can't see them until midnight, you know. And I do have friends that don't work in the business that actually get angry at me sometimes for not being able to like hang out with them.
Sure.
So that's for sure positive. I mean, I can't think of a negative.
Well, and also we understand the dynamics of the relationships that happen in, you know, the intensity of relationships that happen in production, and like navigating that, and can be supportive of each other. And I mean, I think the only downside ever is that, you know, when your careers are having different levels of ebb and flow, and you're sort of being like, I wish I were doing something right now. You know.
Yeah.
There's that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Natalie and Marcy, would you like to add anything to that?
I think the shared vocabularies, like both artistic vocabulary and also just like the part where it's easy to come home from at the end of the day and say like, oh, the headsets went down and we lost 4 hours of tech, and you don't have to explain to someone like what that means.
What that means, yeah. Or why that's bad.
I appreciate that shorthand.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. What y'all said.
Well, I'm just gonna something that Isaac just said. There was a long stretch for Kate and I where I was working and she wasn't working, and then I'd be like, hey, I have like a month or whatever, 3 weeks to whatever it is, you know, with some time, and inevitably every time that happened over a very long span, she would get a job either out of town or in town that, you know, kept her busy 24 hours a day practically. So there was that. Yeah.
The first time that I was out of town for a really long time and Philip was in town, he was like, it's so long. You've been gone so long. And I was like, no.
That's just how it is. This is life.
The person out of town is like loving it, right? The person in town is like twiddling their thumbs, and
yeah.
How it goes.
Drew, sorry, you were about to move on to our next topic.
Yeah, work aside, Philip and Isaac, what are some fun things that you're able to do together aside from work during the pandemic?
Oh,
we've been cooking. A lot. Cooking, making ice cream,
baking. Yeah. And we have a little exercise class we do every day. Like we're on to like a whole new schedule. Wake up, smoothies, emails, exercise class, lunch, plan for dinner. Like it's ridiculous.
We're Stepford wives, basically.
And also watch TV. Like we never have watched TV together. Like we haven't watched. I mean, we're watching The Crown right now. We haven't seen The Crown yet. We're on season 2. We're so far behind on all television. Because
despite it being 11 months in,
we're never home at night.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's stuff we're really enjoying.
Yeah, same here. Kate is far ahead of me on so many things. Now we're finally watching things together. It's been nice as well.
And Natalie and Marcy, have you been able to do, like watch TV, like queue up a show at the same time to kind of watch it together type stuff?
Do you do that?
We do that.
That's cool.
We do that. I mean, our schedules are really different. I'm teaching theater design fully from my kitchen table. And we're 3 hours apart. So it's a little bit more complicated, but we do watch some TV shows together. We have I talk to Marcy while I'm cooking. I don't know what she's doing, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm not fun. You're fun. I live fun through you and the things that you're doing.
It's nice.
But yeah, I mean, we do a lot of that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. And Kate and Ty?
Ooh, we have been doing a lot. We're super active. It started with a lot of biking around and going on all the ferries around New York City, trying to be outside as much as possible. Lots of cooking, lots of, again, making stuff, puzzles. There's puzzles.
Beach.
The beach, documentaries, got a whole documentary kick. So we have this epic list that we're trying to get through.
Cool.
Awesome.
Let's stick with you guys. So turning for just a moment away from couples, what Kate and Ty, what inspired you? Where do you gain inspiration, both specifically for a project and generally day to day? A little, big and small question, micro, macro. Where do you find inspiration?
After you.
Why not? After you.
Similarly to what I was saying, is that I have always considered myself a storyteller, and I think that my mediums are just visual mediums, and I love working with people. So often I am inspired by what the story is that I'm trying to tell, and challenging myself to tell it in a new way. So either the story, my collaborators, the end goal, is constantly a question of, is this work serving to free us in a way? Is it bringing joy? Is it bringing us closer to justice? And joy as a form of resistance is a huge theme for me and my work and my collaborations.
Cool.
I think, recently there's someone by the name of Dr. Camara Phyllis Jones, and she writes, "The edge of our comfort for all of us is our growing edge." So I kind of always want to be growing and learning things. So I love trying new things.
Yeah, that's a great thought and a great quote. So thank you. Philip and Isaac.
Go ahead.
I think I became a producer because the thing that I like most to do is to collaborate and to really help heighten other people's voices, and I think that's kind of what my job is. And so I get very inspired by the people that I work with and what they're saying, and I want the work that I do to be meaningful in the lives of people today. So, I get very invested in the artists that I work with, and that drives me.
Yeah, Philip.
That's a hard question. I'd like to say I'm not inspired by anything, but I think I'm definitely inspired by my colleagues, and I'm inspired by my directors and my fellow designers, and I'm inspired by the text, or the music, whatever it is we're working on. But I also think as a lighting designer, a lot. I mean, and that's why my first instinct is to say I'm not inspired by anything, but I think you're inspired by your instincts. You know what I mean? Like as a line designer, you have a gut reaction to so many things, and that is what makes you do what you do. So that would be my deep answer.
Great. Marcy.
Oh gosh. You know, being in Vegas is a strange thing because it feels very different than what I did for 20 years before I got here. I learned several things during the pandemic, especially that I have a passion for storytelling also, though I think that I'm here to help others tell better stories using all of my organizational and inspiring tricks, and realizing that like entertainment is a much broader category out here. I've met the most interesting people, and to help them tell stories about things I never understood. I mean, hang out with some circus and burlesque artists out here, and you learn about a whole different world that's very different from even the burlesque artists I knew in New York. And otherwise, I have found that I'm really inspired by my mother, who's a woman in her 70s who's like living her best life every day and kicking ass in a way that allowed me to be the crazy person that I am. And I just find her passion for making things beautiful and being a good person has been something I've been really focused on this year.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Natalie.
I think the easy answer, like as an artist, I sort of like refill my soul and like by experiencing the art of other people, which used to mean going to the theater and going to art museums, and now means like also wandering around Philadelphia, which has the most murals of any city on the East Coast.
Oh.
See, you didn't know. No. But I mean, really, the answer is that I'm inspired by my students. They are going to fix or make theater better. Like they are the future of what we do. We can fix some things, but they are like imagining entirely new worlds that we can't even conceive of. And so that is what I'm inspired by every day.
Cool. Drew, I have to say, we were almost going to skip this question. I'm glad we didn't, because we've asked this question or a version of this question many times. I don't think we've had better answers or like more different answers from anyone yet. So that was great. Thanks. I feel like I gained inspiration by listening to every one of you answer that question. So thank you. That was great.
Yeah.
We should stop
well, now.
Nope, we're not going to stop. Let's keep going.
So we're going to do one of our favorite parts of the show.
Jeff's Roundtable Rapid Fire.
But since this is a couple edition, we're going to do it per couple. So Kate and Ty, Natalie, or I wrote it down. And
Natalie and Marcy. I know we talked about this.
Kate, Ty, Philip, and Isaac. We'll see in a bit.
We'll see in a bit. We'll be right back. Okay, we're going to dive right in. So,
so hold on. Let me do my and then.
Okay, so we're Marcy, then Natalie. Great. All right, Marcy. Favorite romantic comedy?
Love Actually.
Love Actually. Great. Natalie.
Star Wars.
Ooh,
nice.
Amazing. Sorry, we should stop now. First vacation you took together?
We went to Ithaca, New York for our first Thanksgiving together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Marcy, agreed.
Yes, to see where the book Fool on the Hill took place.
Oh, cool. When you feel safe enough to dine out together, what is the first restaurant you'll go to, and what kind of food is it?
Tricky. If we get to be in New York, it's Saggio, which is an Italian place in Washington Heights that we spent a lot of time at. If we're in Philadelphia, it's going to be Soraya. And we're not going to be in Vegas for that.
It's going to be the Starbucks in Vegas. Right. Natalie, do you agree with those answers?
I do.
Okay. Okay, so here we are. Which one of you is most likely to, Natalie, lose the TV remote control?
Marcy.
Agreed. Great. I have to rearrange my screen. This is different this week. I can't actually see everything. Okay, better. Marcy, arrive early. Which one of you is more likely to arrive early?
Natalie.
Yes.
Great. Which one will want to stay later at a party?
Neither of us.
Really? You're both like done early. Which one is more likely to get arrested?
I think Marcy.
You think so? All right. Sure.
Which one of you is more likely to fall asleep first?
Natalie.
I think I know the answer to this next one. Which one is more likely to become a politician?
Marcy.
Oh, I was wrong. Natalie, you're on the union. You're big in our union situation.
I am the liaison chair of Actors Equity Las Vegas.
So you both. There you go. All right. Moving along. One similarity between the two of you that you love.
We both love to read.
Yes.
We both love to read. We bonded over books and TV shows early. So.
That's true.
One difference between you two that you love.
Natalie is a better advocate for everything than I am.
How do you de-stress at the end of a hard day?
Yoga or dance breaks, depending.
Same. Natalie, both fun. Where do you want to travel? This is might be an easy one, but where do you want to travel first when things reopen? I guess who's going to the same place. Yeah.
We'd like to go to wherever the other one is.
Yeah.
We vacation in Maine often, and so maybe we will get to go to Maine this summer.
We also have tickets for an Alanis Morissette concert that we want to happen so we can see it. How about that?
Where?
In New Jersey.
Yeah.
Another state, a third state. That's what you need. More states. Natalie, best advice you were given by anyone about anything?
Oh my God, I have no idea. Do the thing you love until you stop loving it.
That's great advice. Marcy.
That Katharine Hepburn quote, something, something, always be yourself. Don't put too much flour in your brownies.
Hooray. Marcy, what do you miss most about live entertainment being shut down?
Oh my God, absolutely everything. The collective joy in a room. And I also really miss saying the word go. And I miss saying at the beginning of every show, okay, let's do the thing with the stuff.
Yeah. Natalie.
I miss writing light cues desperately. I also just miss being in a room with the humans that are making the thing.
You have successfully completed the rapid fire section.
High five.
High five. Drew, who's next?
Kate and Ty.
Kate and Ty. Okay. It's second time through, so I don't often get two shots at this, so I should be better. Okay, Kate, favorite romantic comedy?
Princess Bride.
Love that one. Ty.
I don't have one.
I said I was going to make you choose between, what was it? Sleepless in Seattle and When Harry Met Sally. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to have one.
I don't think I've never seen those before.
That's okay.
I'm
not sure if I've ever seen all of. I might get in trouble for saying this. I'm not sure I've ever seen all of Sleepless in Seattle. Kate, don't kill me.
Okay.
You're not alone.
I'm not alone. What's the first vacation you took together?
Coast of Oregon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite restaurant? When you feel safe to dine out together, do you have a place you'll go?
Ooh, Screamers. Screamers? Yeah. Pizza.
Where are Screamers?
Brooklyn.
Williamsburg.
Yeah. I know this place. Yeah. Oh man, that would be so nice right now. Oh God. Okay. Which one of you is more likely to lose the TV remote control?
We don't have a TV.
Which one of you is more likely to arrive early?
Me.
Depends.
Are you party people? Which one would want to stay at a party, or which one would want to leave early?
Is it a good party? I'll stay at a good party.
It's a good party. I know that I can answer this question. I am absolutely more likely to want to stay at a party than Kate. Kate is like, can we go now? Mostly. Which one of you is more likely to get arrested?
Me.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
Like,
which one of you would fall asleep first? Which one of you falls asleep first?
Kate.
And which one of you would become a politician?
Kate.
Ty.
Definitely
Ty. A successful politician would be Ty.
Great. I'll vote for you, Ty, if you do it. I'll vote for you, Kate, also. Just don't run against each other. I wouldn't know what to do. Kate, one similarity between the two of you that you love.
That we both show up for shit we care about. No questions asked.
Ty, do you agree with that? Is there something you want to add to that?
No, I totally agree with that.
Cool. One difference between the two of you that you love.
Wow, there's so many.
I love that Ty loves to be in front of the camera, and I don't love to be in front of the camera. It's a very good dynamic.
How do you both de-stress at the end of a hard day? What do you do at the end of the day?
Chill.
Like one of my favorite ways to de-stress is like turn on a record and drink a glass of wine and cook a very intricate meal.
That sounds great. Where do you want to travel first when things open up? Do you have a place that you're dying to go to?
We have a list. We like literally have a list though, right? It's Japan and Mexico, Hawaii.
You broke up for the first one. What was the first one on the list?
Japan, Iceland, yeah. Japan, yeah. Iceland, Hawaii, and Mexico.
Soon enough. Here's to doing it. Best advice you were given by anyone about anything?
You first.
Don't play with fire or you'll wet the bed.
Okay, Kate, you have to top that.
Oh my God. Yeah, that I can't. It's just...
You don't have to. Fine. We won't force you. What do you miss most about live entertainment being shut down? There are so many things to miss, but what do you miss most?
I would go with the it's like that definitely being together, creating together, and but there's also that amazing thing when you're in the middle of tech and there's nobody else there. And I like being alone in a dark theater, like doing a video focus or something like that is one of my favorite times.
That's amazing. There is nothing like that. Just being alone in that empty theater. For me, it's like I love being alone in an empty theater while you're doing the video check because I'm also not working and I can watch someone work in a nice, quiet, dark place. Ty, do you want to add anything to that?
What do you miss?
People without masks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's probably the number one answer. People without masks should be. Thank you both very much. You're done with the rapid fire question. Let's bring on our next group. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Philip, don't be nervous. I can tell you're nervous. Don't be nervous. You answer these questions all the time. Favorite romantic comedy? Isaac first.
Princess Bride was going to be mine as well. Yeah.
Mine is controversial. Pretty Woman. Sorry.
Is that because something about the musical or no? Nothing to do with it?
I always really like. I mean, it's like if it's one of those movies that's on TV, I will definitely watch it.
It's a good thing you worked on
it. Good soundtrack too.
Oh, is it? Yeah, that's true. I guess it is. Yeah. First vacation you took together?
We went to Arizona to visit my family, but our first real vacation was Italy.
Ah, fun. What part?
The Amalfi Coast and Capri.
Nice. Yeah. When you feel safe enough to dine out together, what's the first restaurant?
It will be either a little local Mexican joint, Noche Mexicana, or it will be Gradisca.
Yeah, or maybe Gramercy Tavern. I'm not sure. We've got some faves.
There's Mexican theme though, and I think you should be Mexican food. Yeah. All right. Which one of you is most likely to lose the TV remote control?
Me. Isaac, yeah.
Which one of you is most likely to arrive early?
Me.
Who would want to stay later at a party?
I think we both would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with you both.
Yeah.
Which one of you is most likely to get arrested? Neither.
I don't know. I mean, probably
for
me.
What?
Probably for me for doing something stupid.
For anything. I was with a set designer who you both know that I'm not going to name, who was almost arrested for peeing in a fountain in Albany, New York, one very late night. They let him go. So there's that. I think he drank a little bit. Which one of you falls asleep first?
Me.
Yes.
Which one of you is most likely to become a politician?
Isaac.
Yeah.
I believe that. Okay, one similarity between the two of you that you love.
I think we're both really loyal to the people in our lives.
That was nice. Yeah, I was gonna say we're both organized, but his is better.
One difference between the two of you that you love.
Philip loves to talk to strangers and will talk to anyone about anything, which makes a lot of friends. Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that about myself too.
How do you de-stress at the end of a hard day?
Philip likes to watch Law and Order for
just
like 7 hours.
Lay on
You
the
can do
sofa.
that for 7 days, probably.
Yes, I can.
He does.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I like to cook, I think.
Yeah, cool. Where do you want to travel first, when you can travel first?
We were saying Paris.
Maybe Paris or Mediterranean, Greece, something like that. Someplace warm.
Yes, I hear that. Philip, best advice you were given by anyone about anything?
This speaks to a flaw in my character, but I would say keep your eyes on your own page.
Why does that speak to a flaw in your own character?
Because I'm always sort of wondering what everyone else is up to, and who's got this job, and why am I not doing that job? And I like to. It's best to just like do your own work and concentrate on your own work and worry about yourself.
Great advice, Isaac.
I think the best advice that I've ever received was remember that neither the highs or the lows last forever.
Also, great advice. Isaac, what do you miss most about live entertainment being shut down?
The people, just being with the people.
Yeah. Philip?
Yeah, I miss my friends in the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well done. We don't grade or score or anything, but you all did great. All right. We're just about at the end of our time, I believe, Drew. Is that right? We're gonna do a couple more short ones. Drew, what do you want? What should we do? Should we go right to I probably should have asked you this before now. We've already talked about our hobbies. Well, okay, I'm gonna do this one. So Natalie and Marcy, we're gonna ask you first. So do you, once we do come back, will your life and work balance change, or will it stay the same? So many have talked about how this time off have made them realize that they were working too hard. What's your feeling? Do you think you're going to go, like, once you're able to go full steam ahead, do you go full steam ahead?
Marcy, you go first.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Good. I'm not a good planner where these things are concerned. I think it's all going to depend on how it comes back and what the heck we're doing. And I don't want to make too many rules where it's concerned. I've just got to take it as it comes.
Yep. Natalie?
Yeah, I think the shape of theater is going to be really different. I hope the shape of theater is going to be really different. And so,
students are doing that for us. They're making it happen.
Yeah. And so I think whether we like it or not, it'll look different. Yeah, I mean, it will be easier to teach when I don't have to record my classes ahead of time. So that part of my life balance will be better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Kate and Ty, do you think you'll go back to your lifestyle the way it was before the pandemic? Or are you looking forward to jumping back into work? Or, I mean, you were working hard, so it's hard to, it's maybe not a fair question. It sounds like you both are working as hard as you worked before. So are you?
Yeah,
I guess that's the question.
Well, I mean, I very much agree with what Natalie was saying, is that I really, I don't expect theater and live performance to look anything like it did before the shutdown. And I think that's a great thing. I think that I'm hoping that it will be a very different field, and it just will have to be, because we've learned so much in this time. And so the work is going to be different. The way we do the work is going to be different. And so to figure out how we're going to work inside of that, I think it's something that freelancers are very uniquely situated for. Like you mentioned, I haven't really stopped working on both paid and unpaid things throughout this entire time. And it just is adapting for survival.
Well, I think certainly theater will be different. We'll see if, hopefully the audiences agree with the differences. And you say live entertainment. What is interesting is that theater might look different. Live entertainment is an enormous field that doesn't have quite the same activism that theater has. So I'm curious if it spills out beyond theater. And I don't see people outside theater having the same conversations that people inside theater are having. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Yeah. Philip and Isaac.
Well, I think we touched on this a little bit earlier. For us, like, we have really enjoyed this time together. And I think that, you know, the financial landscape, you know, who knows what that's going to be. But, you know, all that aside, for myself, I would definitely like to work a lot less and spend more time in my home and with my partner.
Sure.
So for me, I want it to look very differently, but I don't know, you know, I will have to work as much as I, you know, have to work to pay half the bills.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we know what the future is going to look like. And I think it will continue to change. I mean, part of what's happened is that change has happened so rapidly over the past few years that this year has been a reckoning of all that's been happening as much as anything else. So who knows what the future holds?
Yeah. That's a great point. We will see. Hopefully soon we'll start to actually figure out what the future is. Right now, it's impossible to really plan for anything because we don't know when we're going to start back. And as soon as we have that date, as soon as we all have that date where we're going to be in a room with people creating, which I think is what we're all yearning for, we'll be able to actually plan for something and know what it is.
Yeah, we stopped doing the predictions, I think, like in the summer. And I thought maybe coming into February we'd be able to again, but it doesn't seem like it.
We did stop, and because we realized that people were either lying on purpose or by accident. If they made a prediction, you know, there's no way that you could know. So we stopped asking the question. We stopped forcing people to do it.
But in a way, that was really healthy, I think, because you just started sort of living for the day. You know what I mean? You weren't worried about what was going to happen tomorrow or next week because. For once, there's no way you could know, and we all lived through. You know, we know who could have predicted this, you know, a year ago. So, anyway,
no, or 6 months ago, who could have predicted that we would still be doing this, and who could have predicted that they would keep pushing the opening of Theater New York off, you know, 3 months at a time. It seems like now. So there's no way to know. This next question, so we don't end on a bummer here. Kate and Ty, what advice would you have for people who want to do what you do? Like the young people just, you know, I guess in high school, like the people who are, you know, who are going to come up and do this in the future. What advice do you have for them? I feel like.
I would say just, you know, make sure that the decisions you make that like you're rooted in your, no matter what you do, make sure that you work with good people and that you work on stuff that you care about and support each other. Like lead with your full self. Don't let anybody tell you that erasing who you are is going to make the work better.
Yeah. Marcy, we'll go to you next.
Meet as many people as you can and ask as many questions as you can of anybody because people like to answer, and don't be afraid to do the thing because you can. If we did it, it means you can too.
Ty, did you want to add something? Sorry, I couldn't tell you. You guys got fuzzy for a second.
Yeah, I was glitching. No, Kate said it.
Okay, great. Yeah, I lost your feed, and I didn't know if you were about to start talking or you were going to disappear again. I got scared. Natalie, how about you?
I think tell the stories that you want to tell. Worry less about what the audience thinks. The audience will understand the stories you want to tell.
Philip, advice for the young people.
We're having kind of a dog problem here. I would say just be kind. You know, I mean, that's the biggest thing that when I look at young people, you know, people that if I'm looking to work with someone, I'm always going to pick like the kindest person I can find.
Yeah, that's great advice.
That's because he's a nice person.
That's because you're a nice person.
I would say if you want to do this, get in as many rooms as you can and meet as many different kinds of people with different passions as you can. So you have the broadest sense of languages and the world that you can.
Great advice all around. Drew, I think we've reached the end of our show.
Yes.
Does anyone want to add, retract, or clarify anything you've said over the last hour? Going once, going twice, going three times. Drew. Thank you all very much for doing it. Really appreciate it. Oh, there's one quick shout out, Philip, from Paul Kilsdonk, about your mother's cookies.
Oh, yes. Yes. My mom, ever since, I worked at the Globe 25 years ago, she sends a box of homemade cookies to every technical rehearsal that I am involved in. And sometimes, she'll send up to 50 pounds of cookies to a show. It's not like a little shoebox. It's like several days worth of baking, and they are delicious.
Wow.
That's how I get jobs.
Something to look forward to when we're all.
So that's the advice you want to give to the kids.
That's right, Drew.
Bake. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, this was fun. For a nice little Valentine's Day special. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their night. We'll be back next Sunday with another panel. So we'll see everybody next week. Jeff, do you want to mention what next week is?
Next week is the associate designers of Hamilton the Musical, live from Australia, which is the new Broadway, I think. The Hamilton associates are going to come on and talk about what they do: sets, lights, costumes, and sound. Sorry. And what else? Sound. There is no Kate. There's no projection designer on Hamilton. Sorry. Otherwise, we would have had the projection design assistant. So next week, Hamilton associate designers from Australia.
Yep. So thanks, everybody, and have a great Valentine's Day and enjoy the rest of your night. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.